Activists warn of rising child trafficking cases as missing children in Kano surge. Kaduna electricity workers continue strike as talks with state governments fail. Police clash with bandits in Katsina, rescue 13 kidnapped victims. Trump sanctions ICC as countries warn Gaza takeover plan will cause chaos. Hello, welcome to the news update on Trust TV. My name is Hawa Gambo. Thank you for joining us. In Nigeria, children make up largest group of victims that are trafficked to work as domestic servants and beggars. Cases of missing children in Kano who may have been victims of trafficking have continued to rise. The dangers and trauma affected parents go through have prompted children's rights organizations to emphasize the importance of domesticating the Child Rights Act. Dr. Ahmed has more on this story.
Shazali Sani remains emotionally traumatized after his 5 children and wife were declared missing in a mysterious circumstance in 2018. Sani has since then been making frantic efforts to locate their whereabouts without success, though hopeful he will see them again one day.
On 9th January 2018,
9th January 2018 was the last time I spoke to my wife and children. She told me she was in Jos at her father's house. Since then, I have not heard anything from them. That was the last time I spoke to my 5 children.
Sani's misfortune is a reminder to what many parents whose children are either missing or trafficked go through daily.
The authorities assured me that they went to trace them, but with no success. It has now been almost 7 years, and they finally wrote a report to the DSS for further investigation. That is where the matter has stopped for now.
About 300 children in Kano were reported missing, highlighting the enormity of the problem, which a child rights advocate Aisha Haruna believes can be addressed through domestication and implementation of the Child Rights Act.
First of all is the domestication of the law. That's the child protection. Or, in any aspect, if there is policy, some things used to go right. If there are policies or laws, and we have the laws are there for the children, and they are domesticated, but they are not implemented. If like they are implemented, all this will not be going on. That's why I say I talk about that policy. There is traveling that child must not travel alone, because there is the age range that if that child do not reach at least is from 0 age to 18 and is not traveling with his parents, that child should not be out.
She identified poverty and get-rich-quick syndrome as factors responsible for the cases of child trafficking in the state.
One of the major issues that make the children, the trafficking of children, especially within the northern state, is poverty. Many parents wanted their children to be rich and to go out to find the team that will make them to be popular, and they don't know, because there are many ways, there are different ways of the trafficking.
Kano State government had in the past set up a judicial commission of inquiry on the cases of abduction of children, but the affected parents are still longing to set their eyes on their missing children. Ahmed Datti, Trust TV News, Kano.
The National Union of Electricity Employees has reaffirmed its commitment to continuing the industrial action until the Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company, KEDCO, reverses its decision to lay off hundreds of workers, despite a meeting with the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State aimed at resolving the dispute. No agreement was reached between the union and KEDCO. Trust TV's Bella Musa has more. National leadership of organized labor has vowed to join forces with protesting electricity workers in Kaduna State if the management of Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company, KEDCO, fails to engage in peaceful dialogue with the sacked workers. The labor movement has directed all affiliates of the Nigerian Labour Congress in Kaduna to begin solidarity protests in support of the striking workers. Expressing strong discontent with the company's actions, KEDCO recently sacked over 900 employees, prompting a strike and protests over unpaid pensions for retirees, inadequate work tools, lack of promotions, and failure to implement the 2024 national minimum wage, among others grievances. NLC Head of Information Benso Upa condemned KEDCO's actions as illegal and unjust, emphasizing that the company violated redundancy rules by laying off such a large number of workers in one go. He called on the company to recall the sacked workers unconditionally in order to restore industrial harmony. The Trade Union Congress TUC has threatened to strike if the federal government does not reverse the 50% increase in telecommunications tariffs. TUC President Comrade Festus Osifo criticized the hike, calling it economically oppressive and ill-timed during an interview on Channels Television Politics Today. He confirmed that the union will take action if the government ignores their demand, though the exact date will be determined after further meetings. Osifo explained that the tariff increase is a symptom of broader foreign exchange mismanagement, which he believes the government should address instead of focusing on price hikes. He suggested that economic stability, rather than tariff increase, would better resolve the issue. While recognizing the telecom company's operational challenges, Osifo stressed that the government should reduce operational costs instead of repeatedly raising tariffs. Labour Party's presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, has called for greater transparency and accountability regarding the recent increase in Nigeria's 2025 budget, which has risen to 54 trillion due to the reported revenue growth. Obi expressed concerns on X, pointing out that while revenue sources were outlined, there was no corresponding breakdown of expenditure to justify the budget increase. He emphasized that Nigerians deserve to know how their funds are being spent, particularly on development areas such as education, healthcare, security, and poverty alleviation. Obi further urged the government to provide clarity on how the funds from the 2023 Renewed Hope budget have been utilized, and called on the National Assembly to make public the full details of the 2024 budget. The call comes after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu announced the 4.5 trillion increase on the proposed 2025 budget, which was based on additional revenues generated by key government agencies like the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Nigerian Customs Services, and others. One person has been reportedly killed, while 6 others are hospitalized following Lakurawa terrorist attack at Gulma community, Arugungu local government area of Kebbi State. While speaking, Chairman of Arugungu local government, Aliyu Sanu Gulma, said the terrorists attacked the village around 11 p.m. on Thursday, while residents of the community were sleeping. He added that the terrorists flee to the forest when they realized people in the community were coming out to challenge their attack. The public relations officer, Kebbi Police Command, CSP Nafiu Abubakar, confirmed the incident. He said the command has already dispatched mobile policemen to the community. Bandits attacked Maibako village in the Sabwa local government area of Katsina State on Thursday, killing 2 people and kidnapping an unknown number of residents. According to Police Public Relations Officer DSP Abubakar Sadiq, the police received a distress call and swiftly responded to the scene, where they engaged the bandits. While 13 victims were rescued, 2 people were killed and 1 was injured in the attack. The rescued victims were reunited with their families, though others were taken by the bandits. He said the police are continuing efforts to locate the remaining victims and arrest the perpetrators. The Katsina State Police Command reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring public safety and bringing criminals to justice. And while nearly all Nigerians' general and off-cycle elections since independence have been marred by violence, resulting in loss of lives and properties, in this report, Trust TV's Noel Sampson highlights ways transparency and accountability can be entrenched in election management in Nigeria. Here's the report.
According to Human Angle media reports, about 3,000 persons lost their lives to electoral violence in Nigeria between 1964 and 2019. The breakdown showed that in 1964-1965 general election, 200 lives were lost while 100 persons died in the famous 1993 election reportedly won by Basharun MKO Abiola. During the 1999 election, 80 deaths were recorded due to electoral violence. 2003 election also saw 100 lives lost. The cycle continues until 2019 general election, where about 250 persons lost their lives. There's however a twist in recent times. Reports by King Park Development Initiative about the off-cycle elections in Ondo, Edo State indicated that no life was lost during the election. Expert however says attention now should be on pre- and post-election violence.
We should not be judging a peaceful election on what happened on election day. It's a process. So what happened a month to the election is very critical to what happened on the election day. Because naturally, what happened on election day is going to be a bit limited.
Chairman House Committee on Electoral Matters, Adebayo Balogun, said the National Assembly is pushing for reforms that will guarantee the integrity of elections in Nigeria.
We are actually having a bill, Electoral Offences Tribunal Commission, which by the time we pass that, we will remove that responsibility from INEC so that it will be on its own, so that there will be a commission to look into electoral malpractices and offences generally, which also involves electoral violence.
Yes, as a religious organization, what we are doing from time to time, not only during the election, we have been trying to educate our Muslim brothers and sisters the need for them to have the fear of Allah in whatever they are doing. And they have the fear of Allah in whatever they are doing, they will obey the government.
We have institutionalized way of mitigating violence, general violence, not even election violence only. Because like when people are aware that there are consequences for their actions, then that means that they will pull back. They will want to rethink. They will have to think again and say, look, if I do this, there will be consequences.
I think it's a deliberate thing on the part of our politicians, Nigerians that are politicians. I think they are the cause of what we're experiencing each time we have elections in Nigeria. You know, I think if they try to do the right thing, if they practice what they preach, you know, I don't think we will see issues burdened on security when we have to do with our election.
Analysts are of the view that to strengthen the growth of democracy in Nigeria, issue of electoral violence must be addressed to allow voters exercise their franchise without fear or intimidation. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now let's move to other stories. A total of no fewer than 50 youths from 21 local governments in Adamawa State have undergone training in digital skills and training initiatives organized by the Adamawa State government, aimed at enhancing their technological knowledge for participating in the global market. After months of comprehensive training, these youths and women are through with the program and are being empowered with starter packs. Commissioner for Entrepreneurship and Development, Hammanjumba Gatugel, says the Fintiri administration is committed to empowering both youths and women through training programs, and Governor Ahmed Omar Fintiri is represented by his special advisor on ICT and e-economy at the event. The special advisor, Dr. Hammajam Ahmed, reveals that more training programs are included in the 2025 budget to equip youth with the skills necessary for self-reliance to combat poverty and unemployment.
that this training is purely in order to make them to be self-reliant. If they sell that equipment, the aim of the training is defeated. So actually, we are planning to supervise them after giving them this equipment to make sure that they are using it, establish their business on their own, and at least train some others, so that at the end of the day, most of our youth will be engaged in something doing here and there.
This event is significant. It shows that His Excellency is deliberate about empowering young people and also providing them with the right environment where they can thrive and grow and also contribute to the economy of Adamawa State. His Excellency in the last 2-3 years has been very ambitious in terms of ICT, whether it is infrastructure, whether it is regulation, and also whether it is deliberately building and shoring up the capacity of people to take advantage of the infrastructure and policies.
Butchers in Lagos State are lamenting the cost of cows, saying the price surge has negatively impacted their business. According to them, situation has resulted to low patronage as many battle to meet up with the cost of meat. Victoria Tokolo has more on this report as presented from our studios.
In the Okoba area of Agege in Lagos State, where cows are being slaughtered on a daily basis, there is now a significant drop in the numbers of cow slaughter in a day. The high prices of cows have forced butchers to increase the prices of beef, which in turn has led to a decline in the consumers' demand. Butchers in the Agege area of Lagos State expressed their concerns on the sudden rise in the prices of cow, the high cost of purchasing a single cow, and the impact it has on their sales.
Meat is the market, but meat is cost. It's cost this time around, over cost. Before meat is there, the money we are spending on the road before they bring cow come this Lagos is too much. That has made meat cost. Nowadays, when you want to buy big cow now, you have more than like 1.7 million, 1.5 million. Smallest one is 800, 900, 1 million, 700. So meat is the market, but it's cost.
So price of cow before, we are buying it 300, 350. So that time everybody they make profits. Both people where they sell food, people where they buying for it. Everybody they happy. But now cow don't go 1.5, 1.7, 1.2. So people where they sell now we are shouting. People where they buy them, they don't be buy them again. Before this market really dey on top of my table. By this time I don't place. I don't go. Now we are start from morning till night. Nobody they come here on the buy market. So everything too high.
Yesterday market our price almost 100,000, 5,000 naira. But today 110. Before the buy that meat highest 55, 40, 35. That's the thing. To do I hope.
The hike in the prices of beef in Lagos has driven a lot of consumers away, as many can no longer afford a proper meal with beef.
This meat now, 5,000 naira it cost. Before, they fit buy this meat 3,000. Please make government, please.
My sister, price of meat now, you don't agree buy your meat too cost well. It don't care where I chop meat, I dey buy small. But fish, short, everything, let the limit. When Buhari day, you go chop meat well. When good luck day, we go chop meat well. I dey use chicken cook soup. But when wetin be the name of that man sef? Emilokon. I no fit buy meat. I no fit buy fish. Common chicken sef, I no fit buy.
Butchers are calling on the federal government to take proactive actions and address the issues leading to the rising cost of beef in the country. Such issues, they said, include insecurity, banditry, attacking trailers transporting cows from the north, as most of the cow beef consumed in Lagos all come from the north.
Now away from Nigeria, United States President Donald Trump has imposed sanctions on individuals involved in International Criminal Court, the ICC, investigations of U.S. citizens or allies, including Israel. The move, announced on Thursday, coincided with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit to Washington, D.C. Netanyahu faces ICC charges over the Gaza conflict. European leaders, including German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, condemned the sanctions, calling them a threat to international justice. The ICC and the Netherlands, where the court is based, also expressed regret. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban suggested reconsidering ICC membership. Meanwhile, Trump's plan to displace millions of Palestinians from Gaza has sparked concerns. Egypt warned it could reignite violence, and Jordan feared it could destabilize the region and harm its peace deal with Israel. Trump proposed that Israel transfer Gaza's control to the United States after the conflict, with the population resettled elsewhere to avoid U.S. ground troops. Now in sports. Speculations about the Golden Eaglets' chance of qualifying for the 2025 Under-17 AFCON in Morocco has been dashed after the Confederation of African Football, CAF, announced the final slots for the expanded tournament overlooking Nigeria. The Under-17 AFCON will be held from March 30th to April 19, 2025, and will serve as a qualifier for the 2025 FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Qatar, a tournament Nigeria has won 5 times. Despite finishing third at last year's WAFU Under-17 Championship, Nigeria fell short in the qualifiers, with Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso securing automatic spots. CAF has allocated 4 spots to Gambia, third at WAFU Zone A, Tunisia, and 2 countries from the Sefana and Kosafa regions. The remaining 2 spots will be filled by the top 2 teams from the UNICAF qualifiers to take place in Cameroon from February 16th to 28th, 2025. And with that, we come to the end of the news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us on all media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel for a constant live stream of programs and documentaries. My name is Hawa Gambo. Thank you for joining us and see you next time.